Hello, Flosstube.
Greetings.
More.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we grow cross stitch.
One stitch at a time. Today is Sunday. It's Sunday. A lot going on next week, so I'm like, dude, let's just do this and get it done. You'll still see this on Tuesday, but it's November 14th, and it's snowing. Like, a lot, kind of. It's starting to accumulate on the ground. I know. Canadian Megan put a picture on Facebook, and they had like half a foot.
But they're Canadian.
This is true.
In all honesty, like, if a Canadian is complaining about getting snow right now, odds are this has happened every single year since the dawn of time.
Well, in coastal areas in Canada, on the two coasts, it's much like, it would be a little abnormal right now to get snow. Southern Ontario, that sits against our lake, a little abnormal to get snow right now. But, all right.
Well, if we're getting snow, they're getting hammered.
They were showing pictures on the Weather Channel this morning from Detroit, and we're like, where's Detroit? You cannot see Detroit. It's so foggy and snowy.
Yippee. So we went from abnormally, summer refused to leave fall, to winter kicking summer in the balls, totally running fall over, and going, I'm here! We had a week of fall?
We had a little bit more than a week of fall, but
It feels like
hotter hots, colder colds, wetter wets, drier dries, more extremes. That's climate change. Okay.
we mentioned the evil word.
How's y'all's week been? Obviously, it's a little crazy around here. It's going to be crazy this week. But we have fun. We shall have fun. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on your definition of fun. Okay. Would you like to shout out our commenters?
I was just tempted to yell, but I'm pretty sure the microphone would break and so would hurt your eardrums. Plus the cops might show up. I'm a little loud.
There's not enough screen.
I do believe, Angie, that this is the first time anybody's ever clapped when they said that the husband is breaking his monogamy.
Yep.
So we got Angie, Teresa, Andre, Bridget, Lynn, Janet, Pauline, and Fever Dreams.
Fever Dreams said she likes the abnormal. Well, you are in the right place, my friend. Janet was asking about my challenges and my challenge groups. The zombie run is this year's yearly challenge in Daily 30. Yes, it is closed. Yes, they're opening it up supposedly this month to add a few members because they're going to do a clean out because they try to keep it so that it's active members only because they do give away real prizes. And since they give away real prizes, they keep it very limited in the number of people because obviously if you had a group with 1,000 people in it, oh buddy. So they do limit it. If you would like to join Janet, shoot me a message on Facebook. As far as my other challenges, my crazy start all the shit is in March Mayhem. I know you're doing no new starts. You're doing the 20. I don't do no new starts, but the 22 and 22 challenge, you pick 22 whips and you work on those. If you finish one, you get a spot. You have 22 spots, and you put your whips in there. If you don't have 22 whips, then you have free start spots. They explained it all somewhere.
So basically, for me, it would be no change.
Lynn asked where we buy the Shimmer chickens at. They are at TSC, although our local TSC did not have any when I went to buy the dog bed. Okay.
And Angie asks, frogs? We'll get to that when we get to whips.
The frog is me.
The frog makes me want to go buy a shotgun.
I'm gonna have to go back to making a list of all of making a list with all of the comments I need to. I want to address on video. If you ask a question, I try to address it on your comment, or I do try to reply and address comments, questions, all of that. But I'm gonna go back to probably starting a list so that we can address them.
Especially for me because I'm not. It's her YouTube channel, so I don't get any notifications. Crap. Because I've actually had a YouTube account longer than she has. Just I've had it as a viewer.
Yes. So, well, since we're talking about the mean frog and talking about it during whips, let's move on to whips. Accumulating snow in November. There you go, people. You get to see it. Whips.
And finishes. Should we start the whips first?
Why don't you just go? Because you're the one. Stick with the schedule.
I thought the schedule was whips and finishes.
No, we just don't. Well, okay, so your whips, then your finishes. My whips, then my finishes.
Okay, this is Chess Pieces by the Cross Elephant. And, yep, I'm done. That's the back. And just so you know, the actual pattern is just this. From here to here, I decided to actually do it the full back row of a chess set with the pawns on either side. I had thought about doing 8 pawns, but I was like, I don't like pawns that much. And I also had to get this done for the end, for the beginning of next month.
Yeah, for guild meeting
and for Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very important to me because my dad taught me chess. And my brother chess.
I love you.
Now I get to go sort through all my crazy stuff and start all the things.
Start all the things.
Start
all the things.
I don't think I'm going to have much next week for whips. Oh, wait, that's the plans. So I'll shut up now. Laura's turn.
Start all the things. Okay, whips.
Whoosh.
Do I have a cover photo of this? I thought I did at one point, but I might not. Oh, I do. I pulled out Winter Fairy because Winter Fairy is my W for Letters of the Month, Sal.
Can I just say one thing?
What?
That honestly looks like 3 cross-stitch patterns with a border around them.
It kind of is. When you do a shadow lane, she breaks it into sections. So, yeah, this was kind of a segmented thing. And I did 342 stitches on this. All of the snowflakes are done. Thank you, Jesus.
Whoop, whoop!
Those snowflakes are not my friend.
Are those specialty stitched?
They're back stitched. But I'm not going to lie, people. Not one of them is the way it's charted. And then we have... I started the border. Because there's these guys. They go down. There's some back stitch on the bottom.
I'm sorry. Would you like to know what that looks like to me, honestly?
What?
You need to charge your phone.
Yeah. There's some stuff going on inside of them. But by the time I hit finishing that because I had to frog the back stitch because I did it in the wrong color first, which wasn't that serious. I was done.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
This project and I...
Do we know you're done?
This is on a piece of hand-dyed by the Slovak farm. It is Cleveland Crud? No. Yes. It doesn't matter because they don't look the same anymore because they changed, the dye company changed their formulas.
So it's technically a solo now.
So it's a solo now. Yeah.
I forgot to complain about something.
What?
I had to frog a second chest piece.
The frog and him were not friends.
The first time I actually had one square off, and I actually had it right. This time I actually did have it in the wrong spot. And all of it is actually because of the fact that I'm following the chest pieces, but I'm using it more like a sampler and moving the pieces where I want to. So it was kind of hard to line them up.
There you go. Okay. Next, I broke out the lovely Claire. Something to do with Scotland, and I somehow connected it to bonfires for Daily 30.
Bonfires?
Look, I stretched.
Did you use the advice I gave you for the Scottish thing?
Yes. She's a fairy queen. Oh, it was connected to Scotland or royalty. She's a fairy queen. And because we determined she was a fairy queen, we tied that to bonfires because back in pagan Europe, people would use bonfires to worship deities associated with fairies. Stretch it out.
So basically...
I made it work!
So both of them involve fairy folk.
Yes. So... 632 stitches in black. Oh boy.
Hey, honey.
What?
I like that. Compared to, like, say, Belle? Or what was the one that you're going to show later where you needed one stitch of green? I'd rather do all black.
Oh, yeah. So.
That's the question. Would you guys rather do a big blotch of color or Confetti City?
Confetti City is definitely not where I'm at with most of my... But, hand-dyed by the Slovak farm heirloom.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually going to put it over there
Okay.
so that I don't wreck up the pattern. I don't normally keep my patterns with my projects because I wreck them up. Okay, then, because I had to start all that crap, I started Mini Steam Heart. And I have to buy some threads. So I may not work on her for a little bit. Because I need threads up where I started. It's a haze. There's thread everywhere. He's watching me struggle putting this back in the bag.
No, I'm trying really hard not to say something stupid.
What?
2 bags.
Yeah, that might happen. Okay. So I got 303 stitches on it. I don't do parking. I don't do blocks. I just kind of stitch a segment. This is on 25 count gridded fabric. Now you can see what I did. Yeah, they're very light. This is the piece of fabric. Doesn't look that bad. It's 25 count. Over 1.
Okay, it doesn't look that bad until you remember each one of these squares is 10.
Yes. And we're doing it over 1. I was laughing at myself when I was cutting the fabric. I was like, oh, that doesn't look so bad. Oh, wait.
Can I see that, please?
What?
I am genuinely curious.
So.
This doesn't look that bad. This I could actually stitch over one on.
It's really not that bad. Once I started stitching it, I'm like, this actually isn't all that bad. You know?
Like
And you
this.
use...
Good.
And the Haid, like the website or the pattern, calls for you to stitch 2 over 1 on 25 count. This is 1 over 1 on 25 count. Coverage is good. Full cross. Coverage is good, so I'm good with it. Yeah, this isn't that bad. It really isn't. Okay. Now we stuff all this back in this bag. Put it aside. Okay, and then I stitched on I don't know what the cover photo is. Pumpkin Farm by Cora Albacora. Because I needed a building. And there's a house on that. This is on 32 count, 28 count, 32 count. I'm pretty sure it's 32. Unless she calls for 28. Nope, it's 32. I seem to have gotten into a 32 groove. Hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm. This is Dirt Road. As you can see, this is a gigantic piece. I did 308 stitches, which is the white for the building and the pumpkin that's on the door. And this is the project where I needed 1 stitch of green on top of that pumpkin. And I was like, really? And fold this up and put it away. Bear with me.
If you're new, this is what she does.
This is how I do it.
Otherwise, her head will implode at the end of the video.
Yeah.
She'll be like, where's my? And I'll have to come back and go. And our next video will be Laura's head exploded. We no longer have a channel.
Okay, and then I pulled out Belle for her zombie run stitches. We're having some time together. I've got 350 stitches on her so far.
What a beautiful chandelier.
The chandelier is charted in all beads. So I stitched in the candles. Started working on the beading for the chandelier. Realized this far candle over here was in the wrong spot. So I had to pull the beads out anyways.
Evil frog, evil frog.
And I'm like, okay, so putting the beads, the gold here, and this part, and some up in here, basically the non-candle parts of the chandelier, get it closer, were called for in beads. I did not like how the beads were sitting. I was like 10 beads into it, and I was struggle bussing. So I said, well, let's just try it in metallic and see what it looks like. I like it much better in metallic. I'm not going to lie. I kind of wish I would have done the cloche in metallic, but it'll be okay. And then I've started down this side of her dress, which is where we'll get the other 50 stitches for it on. This is on Hand-Dyed by the Slovak Farm 28 count Raven, or no, Black Ice. The name of the dye is Raven. Don't ask. That's what I'm stitching for the week. So let us move on to plans and announcements because I don't have a haul. Plans and announcements.
I'm going to have a kit-tastic week. I'm going to raid half the bags she owns that she hasn't sold yet.
I have a lot of bags
that
I haven't sold yet, so.
And steal them.
Apparently my bags aren't good enough for people.
But I'm going to try to kit up some of my projects. And also, I'm going to try to work on Evanora.
Did I inspire you to work on Evanora?
She's the only other project I have that actually... it's either Evanora or Zelda. And I am seriously, when I get to actually stitching, going to flip a coin.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And then, because I'm actually going to try to work on those, I really want to get some advice from somebody. See if she knows any better ways of doing the full coverage, because doing the Zelda map's kind of imposing.
I got nothing.
Actually,
You can try parking.
I don't even know what that is.
I suck at parking, so I'm not the person you want to talk to about it, but I could probably find a video that's...
I could probably find one too, but it's like also... I'm like you. I would probably
Pretty sure
break
Jesse
something.
has a parking tutorial video. I just don't park. So, I mean, the way that I did Steam Heart and the way that I'm doing Argon and Arwen is the way you're doing Zelda map. That's the easiest way I've got to do it because that's what works for my brain.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I'll do. I might like do little sections independently, like because there's some things that are like kind of interesting. So I might do just that piece, and just that, and then just start doing stuff around it. And...
That's kind of what I'm doing with my two, like, where it's like, okay, like what I've worked on Steam Heart is just a section of the glass where it gets to where there's like a piece, the cross brace that's holding the glass up in the ceiling because she's standing underneath glass ceiling. You know, and the only reason I started on the cross brace was because I'm missing threads.
Hey, at least I fixed that problem with mine. So I might need to grab a bigger bag.
I'm gonna have to pull threads out for general store because I know I'm not gonna have all the threads I need for that.
I have a feeling you and I are just going to make an order combined. Might be a good idea. And just like have a crate show up with floss in it. We're starting all the things.
You mean like my box of classic colorworks for the shop?
No. I'm talking a 50-pound box.
Well, we'll talk about that off camera.
Hey, it was just an idea, and I said I was thinking about it. Because I have more ideas while we're filming than anything else.
Yes. I got a box. I got a wholesale order of classic colorworks. You have to do a minimum order, and Diane, Little House Needleworks, Classic Colorworks, is a lovely human being because she spent Wednesday morning going back and forth with me on email about getting an order, what's best to order for my shop since I'm just starting. I now have a ton of work to do because I need to take pictures so I can post threads on the storefront and all that. So, okay. All right. My plans. I have a ton of plans. I am starting 31 projects in March for Mayhem. I'm starting a bunch of projects all next year because I can. Because that's what makes me happy. Most of my Mayhem starts are ornaments. I have to figure out how I'm going to, well, first of all, when I'm going to do the March Mayhem plans video. I think I'm going to do I think we need to do a separate video in like February for our March Mayhem plans. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do it in 2 segments. My segment, which will take 10 seconds, and your segment, which I'm going to go sit in the chair for because I don't want to sit here looking like this for 20 minutes.
It's not going to be that
It was
my
funny.
hardest challenge is going to be pictures of what my charts are going to be because I'm doing most of it out of the Just Cross Stitch ornament issues. So I have to do some finagling on. I'll have to do some like finagling on showing you the picture without showing you the pattern. I'm really not sure what I just thought that squirrel was running across the sidewalk, but I just about had a freak out. Whoa.
Death squirrel. Da, da, da.
I literally was about to just start freaking out. Because like all I saw was the corner of my eye. And then I have some bigger projects that I'm starting for Mayhem as well. And then I've got plans to start stuff throughout the year. I know January I'm starting Oh Feathers by Rosewood Manor. I think about that. We don't know when the first 24 hours of cross stitch weekend is yet. And that weekend I am starting Quaker Turtle by ARTM. And if that's February, that'll work. If it's March, I'll have to switch a couple things around. It'll work out in the end. March Mayhem, we are doing a start a weekend. The second weekend of the month will be designated Start Something Weekend. Also, I mean, in the spirit of making sure everybody can feel included in what we are doing in March Mayhem, so that nobody feels left out or pressured to do anything that they don't want to do. Start a weekend will also be like, if you have a project that you started with some sort of like significance, like, you know, New Year, New Start in January, and you want to work on that project and not start something new, also welcome. Or if your birthday month is, you know, in that particular month, then you have a birthday start that you started a couple years ago or even this year, and you're like, hey, I'm going to put some stitches in on that.
You can stretch it from New York to LA for all we care.
Pretty much, yeah. You know, in the spirit of making sure. It is start a weekend because we do want people to start things if they are looking for a reason to start things, but
also, if you just want to restart something you haven't seen for years, which is actually one thing I'm going to do for January, actually, is I'm going to pick up a piece that I actually forgot I owned.
You have a piece that's been in the timeout pile for so long, and you're like, really, maybe I should put some stitches on that? Go for it. Maybe that's what your plan is for next year. You start a weekend to restart your stitchy bug on that project. Go for it. Do it how you can make it work, because we're all about making everybody have a good time.
Yeah, we're doing this for...
I will force you to have fun.
You know what? God. I'm going to get two hammers. One I'm going to name Punny, and the other one I'm going to name Funny. One way or another, you will laugh.
Oh my gosh. All right. So at some point I'll go through the plan of what I'm starting. I need to finish. I don't have all of the projects I think I'm starting for all of next year pulled out. I have a pile of them, but I don't think there's 12 of them there. So at some point I'll go through them. I'll bring them downstairs and go through them on one of our videos, a December video. And we'll talk about it. And if I don't have 12, well, I'll add to it as the year goes on, because I'm sure something's going to get released that I absolutely have to stitch, because I know me. Case in point. Last weekend, Little House Needleworks released a teaser that they were starting a new series in December. Fall on the Farm. If you're interested in this series, head over to the Slovak Farm ONS. I'm actually going to put an Instagram post up Tuesday with it. I'm doing automatics, pre-orders for automatics. If you would like to do that. I said by the end of the weekend, but obviously you guys won't see that till Tuesday. So see this till Tuesday. So I'll give you all till Tuesday. End of the day Tuesday. They're They have not told us what colors they're using. They're using Classic Colorworks, but what exact colors are not released yet. Probably won't be released until December. Anyways, all of that information can be found over at the Slovak Farm Facebook group. And yeah, I'm going to start it as soon as I get it. Because, that's how I roll. So, probably holding a few spots open next year for projects where I go, I got to start that right now. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I have a feeling I'm going to hit July and go, oh my God, why do I have all these projects?
No, you're gonna get to July and go, why does my house look like a giant bagathon?
My hardest thing with starting projects is kitting and pulling threads. I use a lot of stash threads because I have a lot of threads in stash. So
yeah, I gotta go through that myself. In all honesty, me personally, and the only reason I don't do this is because I want to live, is I honestly would just buy new fabric and new floss for every project.
Sorry.
And I don't think I'd keep old floss. That's just me.
There are people who, I don't want to say, just buy the called for. They'll see if they have the called for and enough of the called for and then buy it if they don't have it. I have a giant tub of Victorian Motto sampler threads that I purchased over a 1.5 year time that I need to use on something because nobody calls for it. Most of it's going to ornaments and smalls. I may just go with they're going to ornaments and smalls and spur of the moment starts rather than and come up with a box of. I have an idea for a floss storage system, but it hasn't been done yet because we were supposed to paint the house. And, well, I guess that's not getting done, so.
It is getting done. We'll just have to wait for something else first.
So I'll have to come up with something because I am a little overwhelmed with starting stuff and kitting stuff up. Kitting stuff up, not starting stuff. Y'all probably don't care about that though, do you? All right. So the plan is there is no plan. No, there's a plan.
The plan is she's getting a freaking machine gun, seeing how many projects she can hit at one time.
Basically.
Spray and pray, start it all!
Basically. I'm down to 2 projects. They're over there somewhere. In the other room somewhere. My Peppermint Purple Sal, which I'm hopelessly behind on for the year, and my Calla Lily Bride Nora that I haven't touched in this cycle of stitching. So have to come up with something to put those 2. This week they did Lord of the Rings week for Daily 30, so
you can literally stitch, honey. You could probably stitch on one project and do most of it.
Not really.
I gotta see this list.
No, not really. The list is pretty open for a variety of projects.
Oh no, I was saying you're doing a Lord of the Rings project. That was my joke.
I mean, obviously my Lord of the Rings project has to be stitched on during Lord of the Rings week. I mean, come on. But the prompts are pretty open. I mean, stitch on a whip with a circle in it. I'm pretty sure there's a circle in one of the Peppermint Purple blocks is like a circle-y type pattern. Something curly in the pattern, vines, again, probably a Peppermint Purple one. I'm pretty sure Calla Lily Bride, part of her bouquet is viney. Stitch on a whip, stitch on your travel whip or one that you take outside on trips outside of your home. I literally think there's maybe. No, I have no projects that I have not taken with me somewhere to stitch on. I'm one of those people who can travel stitch, so.
Okay.
Stitch on a whip you've completed over 1,000 stitches on already. Bonus, if you take a photo of your whip with one of the Lord of the Rings movies. Stitch on your most precious whip and be sure to explain why it is precious to you. What is my most precious whip, honey?
I have no flipping idea. You're all precious to you.
He's not wrong. You're not wrong.
We have Aragorn and Arwen because it was the first full coverage where you liked it so much you actually spontaneously bought the dang thing, even though it's a full coverage, even though before you had bought the thing, you swore you would never buy a full coverage.
He's not wrong.
Belle, because you're a Belle fanatic.
And also because one of my very bestest friends bought it for me. Bought the chart and all the flosses for me.
And that's probably the best one, even though you probably...
That's probably going to be the winner, even though I really... Honestly, I'm at a part in the dress, though, where stitching isn't that hard. It's just... Yesterday was a day, and I didn't really want to stitch, and...
You were forced to stitch by your friends.
I was told I had to get on Zoom and stitch by my friends.
Hey, I came and helped. That's how I got through.
And I had to do frogging, so...
Die frog.
You know, but...
Die frog.
I mean, Lady with Dog is something that I think of as a precious whip because I bought it because
Bandy!
of my Bandy, my baby girl. Calla Lily Pride I've started because Calla Lilies were my wedding flower.
They're your favorite flower.
They are my favorite flower. Yeah, I could come up with precious for all of my whips. But there's a solid chance it's actually going to end up being.
What's really funny is I'm very glad I'm not doing it for a very simple reason. I don't think of any of my whips as precious.
Which would, well, I would say probably it's
weird.
probably going to be Belle, and that's going to break one of my like rules that I've went with this year, which is don't stitch on my zombie run pieces if they're not for zombie run miles because I will burn myself out on them. It worked. Well, that became my rule after Lady of the Flag because I was with Lady of the Flag. Although, getting her done was exciting. But I didn't want to burn myself out the rest of the year with one of my zombie run pieces. So, now that we have spent longer talking about plans and announcements than we did about whips.
And the fact there's still a squirrel out there making me squirrel.
Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all. That wraps it up for this week. What do we want them to do, darling?
Like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notification, thingy me bobby, all the YouTube shop. And also, have a nice day.
I get the yawn right at the end of that whole spiel. Isn't that lovely? Real life here on the Slovak Farm, folks. Alright. I'm going to go finish my 50 stitches on Belle. So that way I can blow through my One Nation stitches tonight, hopefully. So I get it all wrapped up on the weekend. I don't know why I stress about these things.
Because you're a stress monkey.
Because it's what I do.
You're a flying stress monkey going ah! Ah!
Part of me thinks I need to quit Daily 30, but then I really like it, so I'm stuck. Alright, we will see you all next week. Bye!